क्वीन हाना ने पहली बार महसूस किया कि शायद उसने अपनी जिंदगी का सबसे बड़ा फैसला बहुत जल्दी कर लिया था। वल्रन एम्पायर का शाही महल सितारों की रोशनी में चमक रहा था। क्रिस्टल से बने बुलंद गुंबद 3 सूरजों की किरणों को पकड़कर हजारों रंगों में तोड़ रहे थे। अन के दार्मियन अपने अजीम तख्त पर बैठी क्वीन हाना बिल्कुल पुरसुकून नजर आ रही थी, लेकिन उसके अंदर तूफान था। वालरान कौम गैलेक्सी की सबसे ज्यादा तरक्की याफ्ता कौमों में से एक थी। उनके पास ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी थी जो सितारों के दरमियान फासले लम्हों में मिटा देती थी। उनके डॉक्टर्स मौत के करीब मरीजों को जिंदगी वापस ला सकते थे, मगर उनके पास एक कमजोरी थी, एक ऐसी कमजोरी जो हर दुश्मन जानता था। वो कमजोर थे, बहुत कमजोर। जहां दूसरी कौमें भारी बोझ उठाती थीं, वालरन लोग उसका छोटा सा हिस्सा भी मुश्किल से संभाल पाते। जहां एक सिपाही जख्म खाकर फिर खड़ा हो जाता था, वहां एक वालरन वही जख्म लेकर महीनों तक बिस्तर पर पड़ा रहता। इसीलिए हर तरफ से दुश्मन उनकी सरहदों पर नजर रखे बैठे थे, और इसीलिए आज इंसानों की डेलीगेशन उनके महल में मौजूद थी। हम अलायंस चाहते हैं, इंसानी सफीर मीजी ने पुरसुकून लहजे में कहा। सिर्फ तिजारत नहीं, सिर्फ इल्म का तबदला नहीं, हम अपनी कौमों को एक रिश्ते में जोड़ना चाहते हैं। दरबार में सरगोशियां फैल गईं। फिर उसने अपने साथ खड़े आदमी की तरफ इशारा किया। मेरा भाई दोयुन। क्वीन हाना की नज़र पहली बार उस पर टिक गई। वो लंबा था, मगर इतना भी नहीं। उसका जिस्म मजबूत लगता था, लेकिन किसी जंगजू जैसा नहीं। उसके चेहरे पर न गमांड था, न खौफ, बस अजीब सी इत्मीनान भरी मुस्कुराहट। ऐसी मुस्कुराहट जो किसी ऐसी शख्स के चेहरे पर होती है जो खुद को साबित करने की जरूरत महसूस नहीं करता। अगर आप कबूल करें, दोयुन ने नरमी से कहा, तो मुझे फख्र होगा अगर मैं आपकी कौम और मेरी कौम के दरमियान पुल बन सकूं। हाना ने उसकी आंखों में देखा। वहां सच्चाई थी, और भी, कुछ ऐसा जो उस वक्त उसकी समझ से बाहर था। कुछ मिनट बाद उसने फैसला कर लिया, मैं ये रिश्ता कबूल करती हूं। पूरा दरबार सान रह गया, और इसी तरह इंसान और वालरन सल्तनत एक रिश्ते में बंध गए। एक हफ्ता बाद शादी हो गई। गैलेक्सी भर के चैनल्स इस शादी की तस्वीरें दिखा रहे थे। लॉग आइस मैरिज ऑफ स्टार्स कह रहे थे, मगर असल कहानी शादी के बाद शुरू हुई। उस रात जब दोयुन के सामान को रॉयल क्वार्टर्स में लाया गया, हाना पहली बार हैरान हुई। 3 वालरन खदीम एक बड़ा ट्रंक घसीट रहे थे। उनकी सांसें फूल रही थीं। उनकी चेहरों पर तकलीफ साफ नजर आ रही थी। अचानक दोयुन आगे बढ़ा। ओह, लेट मी हेल्प। उसने मुस्कुराते हुए ट्रंक का एक कोना पकड़ा और उसे एक हाथ से उठा लिया। एक हाथ से, जैसे ट्रंक नहीं, खाली जार्टन हो। पूरा कमरा जम गया। खदीम उसे देखते रह गए। हना भी। दोयुन ने ट्रंक को आराम से कोने में रखा और पलट कर बोला, सॉरी, शायद मैंने ज्यादा बुक्स पैक कर ली हैं। उसने बिल्कुल वैसे ही कहा, जैसे कोई माफी मांग रहा हो कि उसने एक्स्ट्रा कपड़े रख लिए हों। हना ने ट्रंक की तरफ देखा, फिर दोयुन की तरफ। उसके ज़हन में एक सवाल पैदा हुआ। एक ऐसा सवाल जो अगले चंद हफ्तों में और गहरा होता गया। इंसान वाकई कितने मजबूत होते हैं। हर सुबह दोयुन सूरज निकालने से पहले उठ जाता। जब पूरा महल सो रहा होता, वो महल के बागों में दौड़ रहा होता। कभी वो घंटों तक दौड़ता रहता, कभी जमीन पर गिरकर अपने जिस्म को बार बार ऊपर नीचे करता, कभी दरख्तों की शाखों से लटक कर अपने आप को ऊपर खींचता। एक दिन हना ने आखिर पूछ ही लिया, तुम ये सब क्यों करते हो? दोयुन ने पसीने से भीगी पेशानी साफ की। एक्सरसाइज। मगर क्यों? क्योंकि अगर हम इंसान अपने जिस्म को इस्तेमाल ना करें, तो वो कमजोर होने लगता है। हना ने हैरानी से उसकी तरफ देखा। तुम कमजोर होने से डरते हो? दोयुन हल्की सी हंसी हंसा। ना ही। उसकी आंखों में अजीब सी चमक उभरी। मैं सिर्फ इतना चाहता हूं कि जब जरूरत पड़े तो मैं अपनी पूरी ताकत इस्तेमाल कर सकूं। हना को उस वक्त अंदाजा नहीं था कि दोयुन अभी भी अपनी असल ताकत का सिर्फ एक छोटा सा हिस्सा दिखा रहा था, और बहुत जल्द पूरी गैलेक्सी को पता चलने वाला था कि इंसान असल में कितने खतरनाक हो सकते हैं। The Vulran gravity was much lighter than Earth's. Moving here felt effortless to him. The kitchen staff also found Doyun confusing. He ate more than 3 Valran combined. The head cook complained to Hana in private. Your Majesty, the human consort is eating our supplies. Yesterday, he consumed an entire roasted Vaskabeast that was meant to feed the household guard for 2 days. Hana frowned. Is he ill? He seems perfectly healthy. He just eats constantly. When Hana mentioned this to Dunn, he looked embarrassed. I am sorry. I am trying to eat less. Human metabolism is fast. We need more fuel than some species. I will be more careful. But it was not just eating and exercise. Down's reflexes were unnaturally quick. During a formal dinner with visiting dignitaries, a servant accidentally knocked over a crystal vase. It fell from a high shelf directly toward the head of an elderly council member. Before anyone could react, Down's hand shot out. He caught the vase in midair. Without looking, the movement was so fast that several guests gasped. Doe gently set the vase back on the shelf. Careful, he said pleasantly to the servant, who stood frozen in shock. High Chancellor Boang began watching Dong-Yun more carefully. After that, he noticed other things. The human he never got sick despite being exposed to Valran bacteria that should have been foreign to his system. Once Bo Yang saw Dong-Yun pick up a decorative statue to examine it. The statue was solid stone, weighing at least 200 pounds. Dong-Yun held it with one hand like it was made of paper. Bo went to the palace archives and researched everything available about humans. What he found disturbed him. Earth was classified as a high-gravity world in the database. Its gravity was nearly 3 times that of the Valron homeworld. The planet's surface was covered in dangerous weather patterns. Its native wildlife included creatures that could tear through metal. Earth's oceans contained animals large enough to swallow ships. Humans had evolved to survive on a death world. He brought this information to Hana in private. Your Majesty, I believe we have made a significant error in judgment. Hana sat down the report she was reading. Explain the humans. They are not weak as we assumed. Their planet is a nightmare by our standards. Nothing on the Valran homeworld compares. Their bodies are built to withstand conditions that would kill us instantly. Down has been nothing but gentle, Hana said. Yes, because he is holding back. I believe the humans deliberately hid their true capabilities during negotiations. Hana thought about this. She remembered Dong-Yun lifting the trunk, catching the vase, the exercises that would exhaust a Valrune in minutes. Why would they hide their strength? Perhaps to avoid frightening potential allies, or perhaps for some other strategic reason. Boang looked worried. Your Majesty, this human lives in your private quarters. He could be a threat. He is my husband, Hana said firmly, and he has given me no reason to fear him. But that night, she paid closer attention. They sat together in the garden, a place Hana loved for its beauty and peace. Dong-Yun was reading a datapad, occasionally smiling at something on the screen. What are you reading? She asked. Messages from home. My sister sent pictures of Earth. Would you like to see? He handed her the pad. The images showed a blue and green world, beautiful from space. Then closer images of massive mountains, vast oceans, dense forests. There were pictures of animals too, creatures with fangs and claws, massive beasts that dwelled in water. This is your homeworld? Yes, it is dangerous in places, but also beautiful. Humans learn to adapt. The animals, they look fierce. Dong-Yun glanced at the image she indicated. It showed a large predator with stripes and enormous teeth. A tiger? Yes, they are dangerous, but humans learn to coexist with them mostly. Could a tiger harm a human? Certainly. Tigers are powerful hunters, but humans are smart. We learn to avoid them or defend ourselves when necessary. Hana tried to imagine living on a world where such creatures roamed freely. The thought made her nervous. The most dangerous animal on the Valron homeworld was roughly equivalent to Earth's rabbit. Over the following weeks, Hana found herself drawn to Dong-Yun, despite her growing awareness of his hidden strength. He was intelligent and kind. He listened when she spoke about the pressures of ruling. He offered perspectives she had never considered. He made her laugh with stories of human culture and Earth's strange customs. One evening, they hosted a state dinner for diplomats from 3 neighboring systems. Wine flowed freely. Valran wine was carefully formulated to be mild, providing only slight euphoria without significant impairment. Dune tried the wine and made a face. It is sweet. You do not like it? Hana asked. It is fine. Just different from what I am used to. He did not mention that the alcohol content was so low it would have no effect on him whatsoever. Human tolerance for toxins was much higher than most species realized. A Valran noble already slightly affected by the wine laughed. The human finds our wine too weak. Perhaps he needs something stronger. Oh, I brought some earth beverage, Mangy said from across the table. I thought you might want a taste of home, brother. She produced a small bottle filled with amber liquid. Doyun's eyes lit up. Is that whiskey from the Highland distilleries? Aged 20 years. She poured him a glass. The smell alone made several Valron guests wrinkle their noses. Diyun sipped it and sighed happily. Perfect. 5. Bo Yong leaned toward a scientist sitting nearby. Analyze that beverage quietly. The scientist used a small scanner. His face went pale. Chancellor, that liquid is poison. The alcohol content alone would kill a Valran in minutes. There are dozens of compounds that our bodies cannot process. The human is drinking it. I know. The scientist watched Dune take another sip, completely unaffected. Later that night, after the guests had left, Hana found Do Yoon in the garden again. He was looking up at the stars, holding his glass of whiskey. Do you miss Earth? She asked. Sometimes, but I chose to be here. I do not regret it, even though everything here is so different. He smiled. Hana felt warmth spread through her chest. She moved closer to him. Down, can I ask you something? Of course. Are humans stronger than you have shown us? He was quiet for a moment. Yes. Why hide it? Because strength can frighten people. We wanted you to know us as friends first, not as threats. I do not fear you, Hana said. Down turned to look at her. I am glad. I would never want you to fear me. He reached out and took her hand. His grip was gentle, but Hana could feel the strength in his fingers. Strength held in check. Power used with care. She squeezed his hand back and decided that perhaps the human's deception had been merciful after all. Some truths were easier to learn slowly. The Festival of Three Suns came with great celebration. The entire capital city decorated their buildings with lights and banners. Music filled the streets. Vendors sold traditional foods in market squares. It was the most important holiday in Valran culture, marking the day when their ancestors first reached for the stars. Queen Hana was required to attend the ceremony at the Grand Pavilion. She would light the ceremonial flame and give a speech about unity and progress. Thousands would gather to watch. It was tradition, and tradition was important to the Valran people. Dawn helped her prepare in their chambers. He adjusted the ceremonial robes that kept slipping from her shoulders. You look beautiful, he said. I look nervous, Hana replied. I have given this speech 3 times before, yet it never gets easier. You will be perfect. You always are. She smiled at him. Over the past months, genuine affection had grown between them. What started as a political arrangement had become something real. She found herself looking forward to his company, valuing his opinion, missing him when duties kept them apart. Will you stand with me on the platform? She asked. Of course, I am your husband. I will always stand with you. They left the palace in a formal procession. Guards surrounded them. Though the threat level was considered low, the Valran people loved their queen. She was fair and wise, and had led them through difficult times. There was no reason to expect danger. The Grand Pavilion rose high above the city center. Its design was ancient, built by the first settlers of this world. Thousands of Valran citizens packed the plaza below. They cheered when Hana appeared on the main platform. She waved to them, her silver skin catching the light of the 3 suns. Du Yun stood slightly behind her, and to the left, as protocol dictated. High Chancellor Boang was on her right. The royal guard formed a perimeter around the platform. Everything seemed normal. Hana began her speech. She spoke of tradition and progress of the Valrun people's achievements, and their hopes for the future. She mentioned the alliance with humanity, and how friendship between stars could create a better galaxy. The crowd listened with respect. Then everything went wrong. A figure in the crowd raised a weapon, then another, then 4 more, 6 in total, spread throughout the plaza. They wore the robes of common citizens, but underneath, they carried military plasma rifles. The first shot missed Hana by inches. It struck the podium and melted the metal. The second shot hit a guard who collapsed with a scream. Chaos erupted. People in the crowd screamed and tried to run. The guards on the platform drew their weapons, but they were positioned wrong, focused outward, instead of on the threats within the crowd. Bo Yong grabbed Hana's arm. Your Majesty. Down. But Hana stood frozen, unable to process what was happening. Another plasma bolt streaked toward her. This one would not miss. It came straight at her head. Duan moved. Later, when people tried to describe what they saw, they struggled to find words. One moment, the human stood still. The next, he was in front of Hana, moving faster than their eyes could track. His hand came up and batted the plasma bolt aside. It deflected into the pavilion wall, where it burned a black mark. The plaza fell silent except for the screams. Everyone stared. Dune's expression had changed. The gentle, smiling man was gone. What remained was something harder, something focused. He looked at the assassins like a predator, identifying prey. "Stay behind me," he said to Hana. His voice was calm, but it carried an edge she had never heard before. Two assassins fired at him simultaneously. The plasma bolts hit him square in the chest. The Valran guards gasped, certain they had just seen the human die. Plasma weapons could vaporize flesh and bone. The smoke cleared. Doan stood unharmed. His clothes were burned and smoking, but his skin showed no damage. He looked down at the holes in his shirt and sighed. "I liked this shirt." Then he moved again. He jumped from the platform a distance of 20 feet. He landed in the crowd like a missile, and the impact cracked the stone pavement beneath him. People scrambled away. The nearest assassin tried to shoot him, but Down was already there. He grabbed the rifle and crushed it with his bare hand. The metal crumpled like paper. The assassin stared in horror. Down grabbed him by his robes and threw him. The Valran flew through the air and crashed into a decorative fountain 30 feet away. He did not get up. Under not come. The other 5 assassins realized their mistake too late. They tried to retreat to lose themselves in the panicking crowd. Down did not let them. He crossed the distance to the second assassin in 3 strides. Each stride covered more ground than should have been possible. He disarmed the attacker with a simple motion, then struck him once in the chest. The assassin collapsed, unconscious before he hit the ground. The third assassin was smarter. He dropped his weapon and ran. Du Yun caught him in seconds, moving through the crowd like water flowing around stones. He grabbed the back of the assassin's robes and lifted him off his feet with one hand. "No," Du Yun said simply, and threw the assassin back toward the plaza center, where guards could collect him. The 4th and 5th assassins tried to fight together. They abandoned their plasma rifles and drew combat knives, weapons designed to cut through armor. They attacked in coordination, years of training evident in their movements. It did not matter. Dodged the first knife thrust without seeming to try. He caught the second assassin's wrist and twisted gently. The knife fell from nerveless fingers. He pushed both attackers backward, and they stumbled over each other. The last assassin, seeing his companions defeated, made a desperate choice. He aimed his plasma rifle at the crowd. "Stay back, or I kill them all." Dunn stopped. For a moment, he seemed to consider the situation. Then he moved faster than anyone watching could see. He crossed the space between them in less than a second. His hand closed around the rifle barrel. He yanked it from the assassin's grip and bent the weapon into a U-shape. The assassin fell to his knees. "What are you, human?" Dune said. He looked around at the stunned crowd, then up at the platform where Hana stood with her hand over her mouth. "Someone should call more guards. These people need to be arrested." The entire event had taken less than 30 seconds. 6 trained assassins with military weapons had been defeated by one unarmed man, and he was not even breathing hard. Guards rushed down from the platform, finally shaking off their shock. They surrounded the defeated assassins, binding them with restraints. Medics came to help the guard who had been shot in the initial attack. The crowd remained silent. Staring at Dun Yun, he walked back to the platform. The Valran citizens parted before him like he was made of fire. He climbed the stairs and approached Hana. "Are you hurt?" he asked. She could not speak. She just shook her head. "Good," he smiled. That same gentle smile he always wore. "I apologize for interrupting your speech. Should we continue the ceremony?" Hana finally found her voice. "What? How did you—" "We should get you to safety first," Du Yun said. Bo Yong stepped forward. "Human, what are you?" Dune looked at the Chancellor. "I am Dun Hana's husband, and I would very much like to get her somewhere safe now." The guards formed around them. This time, they pointed their weapons outward, protecting the queen and her human consort. As they escorted the royal couple back to the palace, Hana looked at Down's face. She saw the concern there, the genuine worry for her safety. But she also saw something else now. She saw the strength he had been hiding, the power he kept leashed, and she realized that she had married someone far more extraordinary than anyone had imagined. When they reached the safety of the palace, Hana turned to face him. Yes, Duna judged. I suppose we do. The royal council chamber felt smaller with tension filling it. Hana sat at the head of the long table. Around her sat the high council members, their faces showing confusion, fear, and awe. Ambassador Moonji stood near the doorway, having been summoned urgently from the human embassy. And Do-yoon sat quietly beside Hana, looking uncomfortable with all the attention. Bo-young spoke first. Explain all of it. What are humans really? Dun looked at his sister. Imji nodded. He took a deep breath. We are exactly what we said we are. Humans from Earth. We did not lie about that. But you hid the truth about your capabilities, Hana said quietly. Yes, we did. Don-yoon met her eyes. Earth is what the galactic community calls a death world. Our planet is harsh by most standards. High gravity, dangerous weather, aggressive predators. Humans evolved to survive in those conditions. One of the council members, a scientist named Ji-won, leaned forward. How high is your gravity? About 2.8 times what you experience here on the Valran homeworld. The council members looked at each other. Ji-won did quick calculations on her datapad. That means every movement you make here requires almost no effort. You are constantly operating at less than half your normal capacity. Less than a third, actually, MJI said. And it is not just gravity. Earth's atmosphere has higher oxygen content. Our day-sight cycle is longer. Our temperature ranges are more extreme. Everything about our world pushed humans to become more resilient. Another council member spoke up. The plasma weapons. We saw them hit you directly. That should have killed you instantly. Do-yoon pulled back his burned shirt collar, revealing the skin underneath. There was not even a mark. Human skin is tougher than most species. Our bones are denser. Our muscles are stronger. We heal faster. These are just evolutionary advantages. Just Bo-young's voice rose. You threw a full-grown Valran 30 feet through the air. You bent a military rifle with your hands. You moved faster than our eyes could follow. I was being careful, Do-yoon said quietly. I did not want to hurt anyone permanently. The room fell silent at that admission. Hana felt a chill run through her. How strong are you really? Dawn hesitated. May I show you? It might be easier than explaining. Greater Reminer. Hana nodded. Please. They moved to the palace training grounds. Word had spread through the court, and despite Bo-young's attempts to keep things private, a crowd gathered. The royal guard, palace staff, and curious nobles all wanted to see the truth about the human. In the center of the training yard sat a large stone block. It was used for testing the strength of mechanical lifters. The block weighed approximately 10 tons. It took 4 motorized carts to move it. Do-yoon walked up to the block. He placed his hands underneath it, bent his knees, and lifted. The stone rose off the ground smoothly. He held it above his head for a moment, then set it down gently. The crowd gasped. Junyeon immediately started taking measurements. Impossible. The energy required. His body should not be able to generate that force arc energy. But I did, Dune said. Would you like to see more? For the next hour, he demonstrated. He ran the length of the training field in seconds, moving so fast he blurred. He jumped vertically, more than 20 feet from a standing position. He struck a combat dummy designed to withstand weapons fire, and his fist went through it like it was made of cloth. At one point, a guard nervously offered him a plasma rifle. Can you really withstand this? Down looked at Hana. Only if you want me to. I will not lie to you anymore. Show me, Hana said. The guard set the weapon to its lowest setting and fired at Dun's arm. The plasma bolt hit him squarely. When the smoke cleared, his skin was red but unbroken. That stings a bit, he admitted. Higher settings would actually hurt. High enough, and yes, they could kill me. Humans are tough, not invincible. Imji stepped forward to address the council. This is why we were cautious about revealing the truth. Throughout galactic history, strong species often become conquerors. They use force to take what they want. We did not want you to think we were threats. But you are threats. Bong said, you could conquer half the galaxy with this kind of power. We could, Mimji agreed. But we do not want to. Humanity learned a hard lesson on our own world. Strength without wisdom leads to destruction. We nearly destroyed ourselves in wars before we learned to cooperate. We do not want to repeat those mistakes among the stars. Hana walked closer to Dawn-yun. The crowd fell silent, watching their queen approach the human who had just demonstrated godlike power. She reached out and touched his arm, the same arm that had been shot with plasma. "Why did you marry me?" she asked. "Your people do not need us. You are stronger than any army we could field. You could take what you want." Dunn covered her hand with his own. "Because I wanted to. Because when I met you, I saw someone intelligent and kind, someone who cared about her people more than herself, someone worth knowing. The alliance was my government's idea, but marrying you was my choice." "You could have anyone? Why choose someone so fragile?" "You are not fragile. You are strong in ways I will never be. You lead an empire. You make decisions that affect billions. You carry responsibility that would crush most people. That is real strength." He smiled gently. "Also, I think you are beautiful. That helps, despite everything." Hana felt herself smile. Around them, the crowd seemed to relax slightly. If their queen could smile, perhaps things were not so terrible. Jiwon approached with her datapad. "I have been analyzing the demonstration. Du Yun, based on what you showed us, how many humans would it take to disable our planetary defense fleet?" Dune thought about it. If they were Marines in combat armor, maybe 50. If they were just regular soldiers, a few hundred. Unresin. The council members looked ill. The Valran defense fleet contained thousands of ships and personnel. The idea that a few hundred humans could overwhelm them was terrifying. "But we will not," Mi said firmly. "That is not why we came here. We came for friendship, for trade, for knowledge exchange. We came because the galaxy is huge and lonely, and finding friends is better than making enemies." Boang crossed his arms. "How do we know you speak the truth? You have lied by omission already." "That is fair," Mimji acknowledged. "You have no reason to trust us completely. But consider this. We have been here for months. In that time, we have asked for nothing except friendship. We have shared technology. We have opened trade routes. We have married into your royal house. If we wanted to conquer you, we could have done so on the first day." Hana thought about the past months. Du Yun's gentleness, his patience, the way he always asked permission, always respected boundaries. He had been careful with her, because he knew she was fragile in comparison. Every touch, every gesture had been calculated to avoid accidentally hurting her. "You have been holding back constantly," she said to him. "Around me, around everyone." "Yes, I am used to it. All humans learn to be careful around more delicate species. It becomes second nature. Does it not frustrate you? Always limiting yourself sometimes. But you are worth the caution." He squeezed her hand gently. "You have always been worth it." Hana turned to face her council. "I believe them. Humans could have taken what they wanted. Instead, they offered friendship. They sent down to live among us, to be vulnerable to our judgment. That takes courage and faith." "Your Majesty," Boang began, but she cut him off. "I have made my decision. The alliance stands. Humanity has proven themselves today, not as conquerors, but as protectors. My husband defended me and my people. When assassins attacked, he could have let me die and claimed rule for himself. Instead, he protected me. That tells me everything I need to know about human character." The council bowed to her wisdom. They were still afraid, still uncertain, but they trusted their queen. That night, alone in their chambers, Hana sat beside Dune on their balcony. "I need time to fully understand this. What you are, what your people are. I know, take all the time you need, but I want you to know something. I am glad you are here. I am glad I married you. Even knowing the truth, I do not regret my choice." Du Yun smiled. And this time, Hana saw it differently. She saw the strength behind the gentleness, the power held in check by choice. And she realized that true strength was not about what someone could do, but about what they chose not to do. "Neither do I," Dunn said. "Neither do I." 3 weeks after the assassination attempt, Normally almost returned to the palace. The conspirators had been arrested and confessed. They were extremists who believed any alliance with outsiders weakened the Valran Empire. Lord Teo, their leader, now sat in a prison cell, awaiting trial. Hana had begun to relax again. The council had accepted the truth about humans. Trade agreements were being finalized. Ambassador Mi reported that more human diplomatic ships would arrive soon. Everything seemed to be progressing smoothly. Then the warning came. Hana was reviewing agriculture reports when Bo Yang burst into her office without knocking. His face was pale. Your Majesty, we have an emergency. The defense fleet reports unknown ships entering our space. Pirates? No. Much worse. They are broadcasting Kree identification codes. The datapad fell from Hana's hands. The Kree Dominion. Every species in this region of space feared them. They were warriors who had built an empire on conquest. Dozens of civilizations had fallen to Kree fleets. They were ruthless, powerful, and numerous. How many ships? She asked, though she dreaded the answer. Preliminary scans show at least 300 warships, battle carriers, destroyers, landing craft. This is a full invasion force. Hana's mind raced. The Valren defense fleet numbered maybe 80 ships, and they were built for patrol duty, not warfare. Mobilize everything we have. Contact our allies. Send emergency transmissions to Your Majesty. Bo Yang's voice was gentle. Our allies are too far away. By the time they arrive, it will be over. The CFT will be here in 6 hours. The war room filled quickly. Military commanders spread star charts across the central table. Everyone spoke at once, suggesting strategies, calculating odds. Every calculation ended the same way. The Valron could not win this fight. Dawn stood quietly in the corner, listening. Finally he spoke. Contact Earth Command. Now everyone turned to look at him. Moonji pulled out a communication device. I will try, but even quantum communication takes time to do it. Hana ordered. It is our only chance. Mi activated the device. The conversation was brief. When she finished, her expression was grim. A human fleet is 3 days away. They cannot reach us in time. What about individual ships? Du Yun asked. We have one diplomatic vessel in orbit. It has defensive weapons, but nothing that could stand against a Kree fleet. Crew, 20 humans, mixed civilian and military. Dune nodded slowly. While MG arranged the communication, Hana pulled Dune aside. 20 humans cannot stop 300 Kree warships. No, but we can buy time. We can make them regret attacking. He touched her face gently. Hana, I need to tell you something in case I do not come back. I love you. These months with you have been the happiest of my life. Her eyes widened. Come back. You are going out there. I am a combat engineer. I served in the Colonial Marines before joining the Diplomatic Corps. If there is a fight, I belong in it. You could die, maybe, but I would rather die defending you than live knowing I hid while you were in danger. He kissed her forehead. Trust me, humans are very good at this. The Kree fleet arrived exactly on schedule. 300 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. They immediately began broadcasting their demands. Surrender completely or be destroyed. Standard Kree diplomacy. The Valron defense fleet moved to intercept. They were outnumbered 4-1, but they were defending their home world. They would not surrender without fighting. The first battle was brutal and quick. Kree warships cut through Valran defenses like a hot knife through ice. The Valran ships were fast and maneuverable, but Kree weapons were devastating. Within an hour, half the Valran fleet was destroyed or disabled. The survivors retreated toward the planet, hoping to make a final stand in orbit. On the ground, Hana watched the battle through long-range sensors. Each lost ship meant hundreds of Valran lives gone. She felt helpless. All her intelligence, all her political skill, meant nothing against an enemy that only understood force. Then something strange happened. The human diplomatic ship, laughably small compared to the Kree warships, accelerated into the battle. A single voice transmitted across all frequencies. It was Dune Yun Kreth Fleet. This is Lieutenant Commander Dune of the Earth Colonial Marines. You are attacking an ally of humanity. Withdraw immediately or face consequences. There was a moment of silence. Then the Kreth commander responded with laughter. Little human, your ship is a toy. We will swat you like an insect. Then take your planet too. Last warning, Dawn said calmly. The Kree response was to fire every weapon they had at the human ship. Plasma bolts, missiles, and energy beams converged on the small vessel. It should have been vaporized instantly. Instead, the human ship dodged. It moved with impossible precision, weaving through the weapons fire like it was dancing. Then, it returned fire. The weapons it carried were small, designed for defense against pirates, not military fleets. But the accuracy was perfect. Every shot hit critical systems, engines, weapons arrays, sensor pods. The human ship disabled 3 Kree warships in 30 seconds. The Kree fleet adjusted their tactics. They tried to surround the human ship to overwhelm it with numbers, but the humans were faster. The ship darted between larger vessels, using them as cover, striking and retreating before the Kree could respond. On the bridge of the human ship, Dawn coordinated with his crew. All 20 humans worked with practice efficiency. They had trained for years for combat situations. Each one knew their role perfectly. Target their command carrier, Dawn ordered. If we cut off their communications, the fleet will fall into disarray. The human ship accelerated to ramming speed. The Kree commander realized the danger too late. He tried to turn his massive carrier, but it was too slow. The human ship did not ram the carrier. Instead, at the last moment, it fired every weapon it had into the carrier's bridge section. The command carrier's bridge exploded. The Kree commander died instantly. Without leadership, the Kree fleet hesitated. Ships stopped coordinating. Some continued fighting, others tried to retreat, and a few attempted to take command themselves. The human ship exploited the confusion ruthlessly. It targeted communications arrays, ensuring the Kree could not reorganize. It disabled engines, so ships could not chase or flee. It was not trying to destroy the fleet. It was trying to it. But there were still 300 warships, even disabled. They were dangerous. The human ship took damage. Hull breaches, weapon failures, shield collapse. One lucky CH shot hit the engine section. The human ship went dead in space. On the planet, Hana gasped. The sensors showed the human ship floating helplessly. Dozens of Kree warships moved to surround it. Then the human crew did something unexpected. They abandoned their ship. 20 figures in spacesuits jetted away from the vessel moments before it exploded in a blinding flash. The explosion was far larger than it should have been. Du-Yun had overloaded the ship's power core, turning it into a massive bomb. The blast disabled or destroyed 15 nearby Kree warships. The 20 humans in spacesuits activated individual thrusters. They scattered in different directions, making themselves difficult targets. Kree ships tried to shoot them, but humans in powered armor were small, fast, and extremely hard to hit. 3 Kree landing craft broke off from the main fleet. They headed for the planet's surface. If they could not win in space, they would win on the ground. Each craft carried 500 CRT soldiers, 1,500 elite warriors, against a planet of fragile scientists and scholars. The landing craft entered the atmosphere. Valen ground defenses fired everything they had, but the Kree ships' shields held. They landed in the plains outside the capital city and deployed their soldiers. Kree warriors were impressive. They stood 8 feet tall, covered in natural armor plating. They carried weapons designed to punch through reinforced walls. They had conquered worlds with similar forces 100 times before. They marched toward the capital expecting easy victory. Then they met Dune. He had made it to the surface in his spacesuit, landing in the plains between the Kree and the city. He stood alone on a hill, clearly visible against the setting suns. The Kree commander ordered his forces to kill the single human. 50 warriors charged up the hill, roaring their battle cries. Dawn did not run. He did not hide. He charged down the hill to meet them. What followed was a lesson in human warfare. Dawn moved through the Kree warriors like a storm. He was faster than them, stronger than them, and far more experienced. He used their own momentum against them. He struck weak points in their armor. He moved constantly, never staying still long enough to be targeted. Within 2 minutes, 50 Kree warriors lay unconscious or disabled. Dunn stood among them, barely winded. The Kreth commander stared in disbelief. He ordered the rest of his forces forward. 1,500 warriors against 1 human. But Dawn was not alone anymore. The other 19 humans from the ship had made it to the surface. They formed up around him. 20 humans against 1,500 Kreth. The odds should have been impossible. The battle lasted 3 hours. The humans used tactics the Kree had never seen before. They hit and ran. They used traps. They turned the Kree's size and strength against them. They moved through the battlefield like ghosts, appearing to strike and disappearing before retaliation could come. Hana watched from the palace walls through digital telescopes. She saw Du-Yun lift a Kree warrior over his head and throw him into 3 others. She saw a human woman named Unji collapse a Kree formation by destroying the ground beneath them. She saw tactics so creative, so unpredictable, that the Kree could not counter them. By the time the human fleet arrived 3 days later, the battle was over. The Kree invasion force was destroyed or captured. Their ships floated in orbit, disabled and powerless. Their ground forces were tied up and guarded by exhausted but victorious humans. 20 humans had defeated 1,500 Kree warriors and crippled 300 warships. When the human fleet entered the system, the remaining Kree forces that had not engaged immediately surrendered. They had never encountered an enemy like this. They wanted no part of humanity's full military might. If this is what 20 humans could do, Dune returned to the palace, covered in dust and blood, none of it his own. Hana ran to him and threw herself into his arms. Not caring about protocol or dignity, she held him and cried. "I thought I lost you," she whispered. "You will not lose me that easily," he said. "I promise to always stand with you. I keep my promises." That night, the human fleet commander, Admiral Junho, met with Hana and her council. "Your Majesty, I apologize for the delay in our arrival. By the time we received word and mobilized, your husband and his crew had already won the battle for you." "They saved us," Hana said simply. "They did what humans do best. They improvised, adapted, and overcame impossible odds." Junho smiled. "We are good at that." Bo Yong spoke up. "Admiral, we need to discuss terms. Your people have proven their military superiority. What do you want from us?" "I for your people, Zebroan." Junho looked confused. "Want from you? Nothing more than what we already agreed to. Trade, friendship, knowledge exchange. But you could demand anything. You could occupy our worlds. Why would we do that? We came here for allies, not subjects." Junho glanced at Do Yun. "My lieutenant commander married your queen because he genuinely cared for her. That is the foundation of our alliance. Mutual respect and care, not fear and domination." Hana stood and addressed the council. "I told you before that humanity could be trusted. Today they proved it beyond any doubt. They risked their lives to defend us when they could have simply watched us fall. That is the definition of true friendship." She turned to Doyun. "You asked me once why I chose to marry you. I think I understand now. Strength is not just about what you can do, it is about what you choose to do. You chose kindness. You chose patience. You chose to defend those weaker than yourself. That is real power." Dune smiled. "I choose you, Hana. Every day I choose you." The Valran Empire and humanity forged a partnership that day that would last for centuries. It was built not on fear or subjugation, but on mutual respect. The Valran offered their technology and knowledge. Humans offered their protection and strength. Together, they built something greater than either could achieve alone. And at the center of it all was a marriage between a queen and a human. A union that had seemed ordinary at first, but had proven to be extraordinary. Because true strength, as they both learned, comes not from power, but from how you choose to use it. When Hana looked at Do Yun now, she no longer just saw her husband. She saw a warrior who chose peace, a powerful being who chose gentleness, a man who could have conquered worlds, but instead chose to protect one. And she loved him all the more for